What if I told you that right now, scientists have calculated exactly how long you would survive on every single planet in our solar system, and some of those numbers will absolutely terrify you. On one planet, you'd have just 0.3 seconds before your blood literally boils inside your veins. On another, you could theoretically walk around with just an oxygen mask. And on a third, you'd experience something so strange that we don't even have words to describe what would happen to your body. But here's what no one's telling you. NASA and the European Space Agency just released a bombshell study in March 2025 that completely rewrites everything we thought we knew about which planets humans could actually colonize. Forget what you learned in school. Forget what science fiction movies have shown you. Because according to this new research, we've been looking at planetary colonization completely wrong. We've always assumed Mars was our best bet for becoming a multi-planetary species. It seems obvious, right? It's close, it's rocky, it has some atmosphere. But this new study reveals that there are at least 3 other locations in our solar system that might actually be better suited for human habitation than Mars. Think about that for a second. We've spent 60 years, billions of dollars, and countless scientific careers focusing on Mars when the data now suggests we might have been overlooking far more promising options. And that's not even the strangest part. The research shows that if humans actually attempted to live on every planet and major moon in our solar system, we would evolve into what scientists are calling biological islands, separate human species that could no longer interbreed within just a few thousand years. 8 planets, 8 moons, potentially 16 different types of humans. How is that possible? And which planet would create the most alien version of humanity? Stay with me here, because by the end of this video, you'll understand not just what would happen to your body on each planet, but why scientists are now urgently debating whether we should even attempt this colonization. To understand why living on different planets would transform humans so dramatically, we first need to understand something fundamental about how our bodies work. Everything about you, your height, your bone density, your skin color, even the size of your eyes, evolved specifically for Earth, not just any planet, this planet, with this exact gravity, this atmosphere, this level of solar radiation. Your bones maintain their strength because Earth's gravity constantly pulls on them. That pulling force signals your body to keep depositing calcium into your skeletal system. Remove that force, and your bones start dissolving. Astronauts on the International Space Station lose about 1 to 2% of their bone density every single month they spend in microgravity. Your cardiovascular system evolved to pump blood upward, against Earth's gravitational pull. That's why your heart is shaped the way it is. Change the gravity, and everything about how blood moves through your body has to adapt or fail. Here's where things get strange. In 2024, NASA researchers published landmark findings showing that human cells begin expressing different genes within just 48 hours of exposure to altered gravity conditions. Not months, not years, 48 hours. Your body isn't just passively affected by planetary conditions, it actively rewrites its own genetic instructions to try to survive. Now multiply that effect across generations, across centuries, across millennia. Every planet in our solar system has completely different conditions. Each would push human evolution in radically different directions. A team at the University of Edinburgh has been working on exactly this question, led by Dr. Sarah Sherlock. Her team has created detailed models predicting human evolution on 7 different planetary bodies, published in the journal Astrobiology in late 2024. What I'm about to reveal about human evolution on these planets is so detailed, so specific, that this video is going to be packed with information you won't find anywhere else. If you're the kind of person who's fascinated by the future of humanity, that subscribe button is right there. I promise you, by the time we reach the outer gas giants, you're going to see our species in an entirely new way. Let's go. Our first stop is Mercury, and it's a death trap. Daytime temperatures reach 430 degrees Celsius. Nighttime temperatures plummet to negative 180 degrees Celsius. There's essentially no atmosphere to protect you from the sun's radiation. But here's where it gets crazy. In 2012, NASA's MESSENGER probe discovered water ice in Mercury's polar craters. These craters are permanently shadowed, containing enough frozen water to potentially supply a small colony for centuries. Dr. Sherlock's evolutionary models predict that Mercury humans would develop extreme photoprotection, dramatically increased melanin production. They might actually become smaller over generations, as confined underground habitats would favor individuals requiring less resources. Now we reach Venus, and this is where conventional thinking gets completely overturned. Venus's surface is the most hostile environment in the inner solar system. The temperature averages 465 degrees Celsius. The atmospheric pressure is 90 times that of Earth, so naturally, scientists have proposed that we live there anyway. At an altitude of about 50 kilometers above Venus's surface, the temperature drops to a comfortable 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. The atmospheric pressure becomes almost identical to sea level on Earth. In 2014, NASA engineer Jeffrey Landis published a proposal for floating cities suspended in Venus's upper atmosphere. Our nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere is actually a lifting gas in Venus's thick carbon dioxide atmosphere. A habitat filled with regular Earth air would float on Venus the same way a helium balloon floats on Earth. Dr. Sherlock's team predicts that Venus humans would develop significantly larger eyes to compensate for reduced light levels, along with potential bioluminescent capabilities. Mars is where everyone assumes is our best option, but Mars might actually present some of the most challenging evolutionary pressures of all. Mars' gravity is only 38% of Earth's. Children conceived on Mars would develop hearts fundamentally different from Earth human hearts. Their bones would form with roughly 40% less density. Here's the critical point nobody talks about. These Mars-born humans would likely be unable to ever visit Earth. The gravitational stress would be catastrophic to their adapted bodies. They wouldn't just be humans who lived on another planet, they would be functionally a different species. Mars lacks a global magnetic field, meaning its surface is constantly bombarded by cosmic radiation. Within 50 to 100 generations, Mars humans might evolve enhanced DNA repair mechanisms, making them nearly immune to radiation levels that would give Earth humans cancer within months. Now we leave the rocky planets behind. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, these are gas giants with no solid surfaces. So how could humans possibly live there? The answer involves their moons. Jupiter's moon Europa has more liquid water than all of Earth's oceans combined. Saturn's moon Titan has a thick atmosphere and liquid hydrocarbon lakes. Europa presents the most extreme evolutionary scenario. Living in perpetual darkness beneath kilometers of ice, Europa humans would likely lose their ability to process light in the normal human range. Their eyes might evolve to detect bioluminescence, or they might develop echolocation capabilities. And that brings us to Titan, the most fascinating case of all. Titan has a thick atmosphere, the only moon with a substantial one. You can actually walk around on Titan's surface in just a pressure suit. The atmospheric pressure is only 1.5 times Earth's. But those lakes aren't water, they're liquid methane. The rain that falls from Titan's orange skies is hydrocarbon. Dr. Jonathan Lunine at Cornell University argues that Titan might actually be more suitable for long-term human habitation than Mars. Titan's thick atmosphere provides natural radiation protection. And here's the incredible part. Titan's low gravity combined with its thick atmosphere would allow humans to fly using only muscle-powered wings. Dr. Lunine has stated, future Titan colonists wouldn't need aircraft. They would be the aircraft. But just when you thought Titan was sounding appealing, here comes the complication. Dr. Sherlock's evolutionary models suggest that Titan humans would diverge from Earth humans faster than any other population. The low gravity would cause extreme skeletal changes within just a few generations. Titan humans would likely become tall and slender with extended limbs. Living in an environment where flight is possible would create evolutionary pressure for flight-capable bodies. Over many generations, Titan humans might develop extended arm spans and enhanced upper body flexibility that would make wing-assisted flight increasingly natural. They would become, in a sense, the closest thing to angels that human evolution could produce. But here's another twist. Some scientists are now arguing that we shouldn't colonize other planets at all. Dr. Sherlock herself has raised ethical concerns about her own research. In a 2024 interview, she stated, "If human populations on different planets evolve into reproductively isolated groups, we will have effectively ended Homo sapiens as a single species." This has sparked a massive debate. Some argue that species fragmentation is acceptable for ensuring human survival. Others contend we should focus on preserving a single unified human species. And still others have proposed genetic engineering to prevent evolutionary divergence, essentially programming future humans to remain compatible regardless of which planet they inhabit. Here's what I genuinely want to know from you. If you had to choose, which path should humanity take? Option A, colonize every suitable body, accepting that humanity will fragment into multiple species. Option B, limit our expansion to maintain human unity. Option C, use genetic engineering to prevent evolutionary divergence. Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely read these responses, and this is one of those topics where the collective wisdom of this community might actually contribute something meaningful to this ongoing debate. Here's why this matters beyond theoretical speculation. We're not talking about distant science fiction anymore. SpaceX is actively developing Starship for Mars colonization. NASA's Artemis program aims to establish a permanent lunar presence by the end of this decade. The decisions we make in the next 20 to 30 years will determine the trajectory of human evolution for millennia to come. If we ever develop interstellar travel and colonize planets around other stars, the evolutionary divergence would be even more extreme. We might be looking at our own future, not one human species, but thousands scattered across the galaxy. But here's what gives me hope. We're the first generation that can actually think about these questions with real scientific rigor. We're modeling, we're testing, we're building the technology that will make these decisions possible. NASA's Biological and Physical Sciences Division is currently funding over 40 research projects focused on human adaptation to space environments. We have the chance to approach this consciously. The story isn't written yet. We're the authors. But this isn't the only mind-bending question about humanity's future in space. Next week, we're exploring what would happen if we discovered microbial life on Mars and why NASA already has a secret protocol for exactly that scenario. If you want to join me for those journeys, that subscribe button is right there. Hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for staying with me through this journey across the entire solar system. Remember, somewhere out there, perhaps sooner than we think, human beings will take their first steps on another world with the intention of staying forever. And in that moment, our species will begin its greatest transformation. Keep looking up, keep questioning, and keep imagining what we might become. See you in the next one.